Uh, Sheikh Muhammad, could you tell us more about women in Islam? What do you have to say about this topic?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's a very interesting and important subject because I've been involved with non-Muslims actively trying to give dawah to them for almost 20 years.
MashaAllah.
And we've come across many situations, where people ask you, sometimes they're hesitant to ask questions, but non-Muslims have many questions.
That is true.
And I was working in Indonesia, Bali, and I was inside a pool with an Australian friend.
Yes.
His name was Jerry, and Jerry goes, Shabir, why do you treat your women so bad? I said, okay. I said, I'm glad. I'm really happy that you asked me this question. Because people have these questions, but they're very hesitant because of our attitudes. We're not open, so they don't ask.
Yes.
I said, look, just wait here. I will bring you some answers. I ran to my hotel room and I got the briefest guide to Islam.
Yes.
It has a beautiful little chapter about the women's rights in Islam. So I said, just read this, Jerry, and I start, swimming again. And after a few minutes, he started laughing. I said, what's happening, Jerry? Why are you laughing? He said, it's all beautifully written, but where does it happen?
Where does it happen? Yes.
Where does it happen?
He never sees that.
Yeah,
yes.
He never sees that. He goes, my son works in the Middle East, and he sees that, you treat your women really bad. They're always, walking behind you. They're always, not dealt nicely.
Yes.
I said, okay. I said, now you're not talking about Islam. Now you're talking about Muslims.
Yes, that is very true. That is very
Islam is one thing, Muslims is another.
Yes.
And he had already told me some stories about Catholics.
Yes.
How terribly he was treated as a child, as a Catholic child. So I said, look, just look at your own deen. Does Christianity teach you all these bad things?
No.
No. It's the people who are the runners and the leaders of that religion. And sadly, I have no qualms about admitting that we're not all perfect.
Yes, of course.
And we have problem with cultures.
That's true.
So this question that I always get asked in United Kingdom, in England, where I've resided, and I'm citizen of United Kingdom now.
Yes.
I get asked by my many non-Muslim friends.
Yes.
Why do you treat your women so bad? I have a beautiful answer because these people don't just take a random answer.
Yes.
They need to be convinced.
Of course.
Yeah. So I have a beautiful answer that I would give in the last segment.
Okay.
Let's just talk about generally about the rights of women. But I will give this answer because firstly, why are we here? Why am I here? Why are you here?
Of course.
Why do we do what we do?
That's a very why do we do what we do as Muslims?
And secondly, how we do it.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm here purely for Allah's sake, because of his order.
Yes.
And I'm here in obedience to that order.
Of course.
Yeah. And we do what we do because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. So first, our niyyah should be to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Of course.
And secondly, how we do it is the way his beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed us to do it.
Yes.
And we have very clear instructions.
Yes.
How he treated women in his life, his wives, his daughters, and women in general, how he treated them.
Yes, that is true.
We have many beautiful examples.
Yes. Now, yes, regarding the examples, right before we go into the examples, because I'm sure, inshallah, this would clarify a lot of things. The examples itself will clarify women's right.
Yeah.
But for example, just before we go into the stories, because I'm really very excited to hear these stories, as we were talking earlier right before the show. The Islam, how are women, or how are women looked upon in Islam?
Well,
what is the weight of women?
Are we talking about Islamically or
Islamically? Yes.
Well, I tell you something that look at when someone asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is the most deserving of my love and my respect.
Yes.
And as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, your mother.
Of course.
Your mother, 3 times. And then 4th time, your father.
Your father.
Now you tell me, doesn't that give the dignity and the respect to women in Islam?
Of course,
yeah?
yes.
As a mother.
Yes.
As a wife, she is the future mother of your children when you marry.
Yes. Yes.
It is very important that that you do select, make that selection when you do decide to marry
Yes.
a proper person,
Of course.
the one that you're going to spend your life with.
Yes.
So it's better to think before than
Before
after.
that, yeah, taking that
So making that decision is very important, because if you make a wrong decision, then you're going to have a lifetime of educating her,
yes,
training her to upbring your children.
Yes.
So when we expect our future leaders to excel,
Yes.
to excel in Islam, to excel in dunya,
Yes.
to excel in all the fields across the board, how do we expect them to excel when their mothers are illiterate? They're not
That's very
educated.
true. That's very true.
You tell
Yes.
me, the knowledge is power.
Of course.
Yeah?
Yes.
And knowledge is only power when it's understood and acted upon.
Of course. Yes.
And you tell me, the future mother of your children, the mother of the future leaders of your ummah,
Yes. Yes.
isn't she a very important person?
She is definitely.
Yeah. And I think that the Islam gave the women, this is the message for our sisters out there, the Muslims,
Yes.
and the non-Muslims listening as well.
Yes.
Islam gave women the rights 1,435 years ago
Yes.
that wasn't given to the women in the so-called your modern, your beacons of the light,
Yes.
your modern Europe and America.
true.
Look at France. Only 100 years ago, the women was gambled on.
That is very true.
Yeah, they were paid. If a man lost in gambling, he will pay his money, and then when he runs out of money,
He'll pay his
pays
wife.
his wife. Yeah, and they
Even
they
the
didn't
trade.
have-
Even trade.
even trade, and they didn't have in Europe. They didn't
Yes.
have the right. The women didn't have the right to own the property.
That's very true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
So
Historically proven also.
And also, well, everybody knows that.
Yes.
There's no secret, no qualms about that. As far as Islam is concerned, Islam, everybody has roles and responsibilities, and then they have rights. Yeah, as long as they all fulfill their rights.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the man has rights,
Yes,
but a
that is
woman in
true.
house has rights.
Yes.